Samsy. Story time with Dora. And we's at Lake Powell, or actually we heading for Lake Powell. We going around the world in 80 days. Part 9 for us. And we still boogieing on towards the Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park up in Utah. And we's on the Navajo travel lands right now, and we're going to make it to Lake Powell. Now, this story, we was just getting ready to dive into chapter 12, in which Phileas Fogg and his companions venture across the Indian forests and what ensued. All right, let's get this thing going. Let's take a peek at this drive. It's just such a beautiful drive. And I made sure I was rolling in at sunset so that it would be even more beautiful, if that's possible. This first little bit here is, now you have to make the decision whether you're going to go down around the bottom and then come up through past the lodge at the Grand Canyon there, or if you're gonna go around the top up there and go past the Goblin Hoodoo Valley or whatever the heck it is up there. Either way, when you decide, like I decided to go on the north side, and you get to do this climb right here, and whoof, boy, I'll tell you what, if you've never done it, it's just such an odd sensation because there's no trees, you know, and you're going up and up and up and up, and it just looks, it is absolutely spectacular. And you'll see as we get rolling up here that there's plenty of lookouts. There's plenty of things to see. You don't need to go all the way to the Grand Canyon to experience the Grand Canyon. They call it grand for a reason. Ha ha ha. All right, chapter 12. In order to shorten the journey, the guide passed to the left of the line where the railway was still in process of being built. This line, owing to the capricious turnings of the Vindaha Mountains. I don't know about that Vindaha. Let's see if we can get it right. Vindhaya. Okay, we'll leave it at that. That's as close as it's going to get, and nailed it. Did not pursue a straight course. The Parsee, who was quite familiar with the roads and paths in the district, declared that they would gain 20 miles by striking directly through the forest. See, now we're going to trust this kid, and why not, right? I mean, I don't think Phileas Fogg cares anything other than making time. Phileas Fogg and Sir Francis Cromarty plunged to the neck in the peculiar hodas provided for them. Plunged to the neck. Oh, so they all hunkered down inside their little basket there, provided for them, were horribly jostled by the swift trotting of the elephant, spurned on as he was by the skillful Parsee, but they endured the discomfort with true British phlegm. Phlegm. It can't be the word. We'll go with phlegm, though. Why not? Taking little and scarcely able to catch a glimpse of each other. As for Passepartout, who was mounted on the beast's back and received the direct force of each concussion as he trod along, he was careful, in accordance with his master's advice, to keep his tongue from between his teeth, and it would otherwise have been bitten off short. The worthy fellow bounced from the elephant's neck to his rump, and vaulted like a clown on a springboard. Yet he laughed in the midst of his bouncing, and from time to time took a piece of sugar out of his pocket and inserted it in Kunai's trunk. Kunai. Kaiuni. Let's go with Kaiuni. Sounds better. Kona. No, Kauni. Oh boy. All right, let's take a look at this road because we're starting to lose it here. Oh yeah, see, we're going up and up and up, and and the road just kind of appears to be falling apart. Because of all the rock that's falling apart here. Oh, and here's the scenic view area, and you can get up there, and oh boy, oh yeah, they're probably selling the jewelry there. So yeah, you go up here, and it's holy cow! Look at all that broken earth. It's quite spectacular. Anybody that gets a chance to do it, take your time. Make sure you got nothing to do other than enjoy yourself, and just do that. So we're gonna cut through this big old rock here, and once you do that, you have no idea it's even there until you cross over the top of the plateau and you start looking down at Page, Arizona. Okay, let's get back to the story. I kind of waylaid myself here now, bouncing and jostling, and into Kauni. We're going to call him Kauni. Kauni the elephant, who likes sugar, who received it without in the least slackening his regular trot. So he can eat and talk and walk and talk at the same time, that elephant. He's one of your more intelligent breeds. After 2 hours, the guide stopped the elephant and gave him an hour for rest, during which Kauni, after quenching his thirst at the neighboring spring, set to devouring the branches and shrubs round about him. Neither Sir Francis nor Mr. Fogg regretted the delay, and both descended with a feeling of relief. "Why, he's made of iron!" exclaimed the general, gazing admiringly at Kauni. "Of forged iron," replied Passepartout, as he set about preparing a hasty breakfast. At noon, the Parsee gave the signal of departure. The country soon presented a very savage aspect. Corpses of dates and dwarf palms succeeded the dense forest, then vast dry plains, dotted with scanty shrubs, and sown with great blocks of syenite. All this portion of Bundelkund, which is little frequented by travelers, is inhabited by a fanatical population, hardened in the most horrible practices of the Hindu faith. The English have not been able to secure complete dominance over this territory, which is subjected to the influence of Rajas. Let's take a look at the road before we get carried away again. Oh, nice looking little road, that one. Whom is of almost impossible to reach in their inaccessible mountain fastness. The travelers several times saw bands of ferocious Indians who, when they perceived the elephant striding across the country, made angry, arid, threatening motions. The Parsee avoided them as much as possible. Few animals were observed on the route. Even the monkeys hurried from their path, with contortions and grimaces which convulsed Passepartout with laughter. In the midst of his gaiety, however, one thought troubled the worthy servant. What would Mr. Fogg do with the elephant when he got to Allahabad? Would he carry on with him? Impossible. The cost of transporting him would make him ruinously expensive. Would he sell them or set him free? The estimable beast certainly deserved some consideration. Should Mr. Fogg choose to make him, Passepartout, a present of Kauni, he would be very much embarrassed, and these thoughts did not cease worrying him for a long time. The principal chain of the Vindhyas, let's go with that one again, was crossed by 8 in the evening, and another halt was made on the northern slope. In a ruined bungalow. They had gone 25 miles that day, and an equal distance still separated them from the station at Allahabad. The night was cold. The Parsi lit a fire in the bungalow with a few dry branches. Oh, see, now we're starting to take a look on the other side of this thing. And you're like, oh boy, look at that. The night was cold, yep. Branches and warmth with grateful provisions purchased at Colby. Yeah, didn't know we went there, but I guess we did. Oh boy, double paging here. Double paging. All right. Sufficed for supper, and the travelers ate ravenously. The conversation, beginning with a few discounted. Yeah, they's on sale. We got a few phrases on sale here. The conversation, beginning with a few disconnected phrases, soon gave place to loud and steady snores. The guide watched Kayuni, who slept standing, bolstering himself against the trunk of a large tree. Nothing occurred during the night to disturb the slumberers, although occasional growls from panthers and chattering monkeys broke the silence. The more formidable beasts made no cries or hostile demonstration against the occupants of the bungalow. Sir Francis slept heavily, like an honest soldier overcome with fatigue. Passepartout was wrapped in uneasy dreams of the bouncing of the day before. As for Mr. Fogg, he slumbered as peacefully as if he had been in his serene mansion in Savile Row. All right, let's take another peek. We'll slip into this sunshine. Yeah, and we're going to slide down in the page, and it's pretty beautiful. And we get to Lake Powell right at sunset, and we set up, do a little time-lapsey thing, you know. But it was one, it was one of those times where stuff was, what was going on? Oh, government shutdown. Yeah, another one, and it was free. So this trip, you know, the first night was free because the ticket system machine was broken, and then there was that 48-hour delay between when you could buy a ticket and it showed up online as the site being taken. So if you were staying for less than 2 nights, then you got stayed for free. So first night was free. Second night is free because of the government shutdown. They say, yeah, go ahead, just stay at Lake Powell for free. Okay. I mean, you are just parked out in the desert there, but it is nice to have a parking lot and, you know, somewhat secure. Anyway, okay, here I'm rambling on, and I lost my place. It's because I lost my place, and I was trying to secretly find it with nobody knowing, but you know how that goes. Oh, right there. Ha! Mansion in Savile Row. The journey was resumed at 6 in the morning. The guide hoped to reach Allahabad by evening. In that case, Mr. Fogg would only lose a part of the 48 hours saved since the beginning of the tour. Kayuni, resuming his rapid gait, soon descended the lower spurs of the Vindhyas, and toward noon they passed by the village of Callinger on the Kenai, one of the branches of the Ganges. See, I get that one. The guide avoided inhabited places, thinking it safer to keep to the open country, which lies along the first depression of the basin of the great river. Allahabad was now only 12 miles to the northeast. They stopped under a clump of bananas, the fruit of which, as healthy as bread and as succulent as cream, was amply partaken of and appreciated. At 2 o'clock, the guide entered a thick forest which extended several miles. He preferred to travel under cover of the woods. They had not as yet had any unpleasant encounters, and the journey seemed on the point of being successfully accomplished, when the elephant became restless, suddenly stopped. It was 4 o'clock. "What's the matter?" Sir Francis putting out his head. "I don't know, officer," replied the Parsee, listening attentively to the confused murmur which came through the thick branches. The murmur soon became more distinct. It now seemed like a distant concert of human voices accompanied by brass instruments. Passepartout was all eyes and ears. Mr. Fogg patiently waited without a word. The Parsee jumped to the ground, fastened the elephant to a tree, and plunged into the thicket. He soon returned, saying, "A procession of Brahmins is coming this way. We must prevent their seeing us if possible." The guide unloosed the elephant and led him into the thicket, at the same time asking the travelers not to stir. He held himself ready to bestride the animal at a moment's notice, should flight become necessary, but he evidently thought that the procession of the faithful would pass without perceiving them amid the thick foliage, in which they were wholly concealed. The discordant tones of the voices and let's take a look at this road. Oh, we're getting closer. I keep switching it on and off, kind of thing. Well, GoPro it kind of does that on its own too. Overheating. Oh, okay. All right, sir. Oh boy. Oh. Okay, here we go. Thick foliage, wholly concealed. The distance. Yep. Oh, here we go. The discordant tones of the voices and instruments drew nearer, and now droning songs mingled with the sound of the tambourines and cymbals. The head of the procession soon appeared beneath the trees, 100 paces away, and the strange figures who performed the religious ceremony were easily distinguished through the branches. First came the priests, with their mitres on their heads, and clothed in long lace robes. They were surrounded by men, women, and children, who sang a kind of lugubrious psalm, interrupted at regular intervals by the tambourines and cymbals, while behind them was drawn a car with large wheels, the spokes of which represented serpents intertwined with each other. The car, which was drawn by 4 richly oh boy, here we go. Let's take a look at this road while I try to digest that word in my mouth. All right, you twisted sucker. Come on, let's do this thing. Caparisoned zebras. You know what? Caparisoned. Okay, this has gone too far. All right, you guys. Caparisoned zebus. Aha. A comparisoned zebus are Indian oxen adorned with decorative coverings. Stood a hideous statue with 4 arms, the body colored a dull red, with haggard eyes, disheveled hair, protruding tongue, and lips tinted with betel. It stood upright upon the figure of a prostate. Got a little prostate on the mind. Prostrate, that is, and headless giant. Sir Francis, recognizing the statue, whispered, "The goddess Kali, the goddess of love and death." "Of death, perhaps," murmured back Passepartout, "but of love? That ugly old hag? Never. The Parsee made a motion to keep silence. A group of old farkers, yeah, let's just leave it right there. Fakirs, otherwise known as fakirs, were capering and making a wild ado round the statue. These were strapped with ochre and covered with cuts whence their blood issued drop by drop. Stupid fanatics who, in the great Indian ceremonies, still throw themselves under the wheels of Juggernaut. Some Brahmins, clad in all the sumptuous of Oriental apparel, and leading a woman who faltered at every step, followed. This woman was young and as fair as a European. Oh, I'm sensing something going to happen here. Something's going to happen here. Oh, we can start to see some water. Hang on a second. Let me take a look at this beautiful little drive. Oh yeah, we're nowhere near a chapter, so I can waste as much time as I like looking at this beautiful little drive. We come up over the hill here. It's getting close to sunset. Oh, I just got really lucky on the timing. All right. Okay, this was a young woman and as fair as a European. Her head and neck, shoulders, ears, arms, hands, and toes were loaded down with jewels and gems, with bracelets, earrings, and rings, while a tunic bordered with gold. And covered with a light muslin robe betrayed the outline of her form. The guards who followed the young woman presented a violent contrast to her, armed as they were with naked sabers hanging at their waists, and long Damascene pistols, and bearing a corpse of a palanquin. It was the body of an old man, gorgeously arrayed in the habiliments of a Raja. These are actual words. They may not be words coming out of my mouth, but there's actually words. All right, so we turned into this place. Let me put a mark on it here, and I can bumble and stumble as we roll up in there, because I think it's gone far enough for today. All right, let me take a look and see what's happening here. Let me find the right Geordie LaForge. There we go. Oh boy, yeah. This little road, by the time we got to this point here, I just pretty much had enough. I was like, oh boy, I hope this gets over with quick. All right, so let me just get a little bit more in here, because we get up here to the gate. Oh boy, that's really close when we're at the gate. Yeah. All right. Did we have a good spot? All right, we ended it. Oh. See here, I went and put my mark in the wrong spot even. The guards, okay, yeah. Oh boy, yeah, it's just gross now. What are we, with a body of an old man? All, you don't touch dead bodies. All right. Damascus and pistols, and bearing the corpse of habiliments of a Raja, wearing, as in life, a turban embroidered with pearls, a robe of tissue of silk and gold, a scarf of cashmere sewed with diamonds, and the magnificent weapons of a Hindu prince. Next came the musicians, and a regard of capering fuckers, some more of them fuckers, whose cries sometimes drowned the noise of the instruments. These closed the procession. So here I am, and I can't. I'm like, what the heck did that say? What did those other guys do? They didn't do nothing. They just drove on in. There's a sign there that says the government shut down and go ahead. So let's leave it there. Thank you so much for coming. And there's big old Rosie.